Hey, this is Tony. Welcome back. Glad to see you again. We are going to continue this series from the 9 steps to successful goal achievement. I did a video, and I hope you saw that, about how to set goals, because it's a question I get quite frequently, not just how do I set goals, but how do I set goals and achieve them? That's the whole purpose of setting goals, is we want to achieve those. But I get asked that question a lot. And I did the full series from the 9 steps in one of the videos, and I'm continuing to do an individual video for each of the 9 steps. So if you've not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. And also, if you would, we have a bell that you can ring, and it'll get you a notification every time we upload new videos. So I want you to do that so you can get notification as quick as possible when we post the new videos. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As I said, I get the question, how do I set goals, quite frequently in my shows that I do or seminars that I do. Every time I talk about goal setting and goal getting program that I have, I always get asked, how do I set goals? And that is what we're going to be talking about throughout this series, is how do I set goals, but the specific steps within the 9 steps to successful goal achievement. Today's series is on step 4, set an action plan. Setting an action plan is very, very important. When we set our goal, we want to make sure that we know what we're going to do. I have my program, Goal Getting, Don't Just Set Them, Get Them. And in that program, we also teach the 3 pillars of goal getting success. Those 3 pillars are the what, which is what do you want to achieve? What is your goal? How detailed are you in that goal? And what we've talked about earlier in video number 1, step 1, you want to do clearly defined written goals. So you want to make sure that your goal is clearly defined in the what. And after the what, we also talk about the how. The how is a very important part, because when you set your goal, you want to know how are you going to achieve that. So we want to be sure and create an action plan. And then the important part of that is you have to work that plan once you start doing that. So how do you achieve this goal that you've set for yourself in the what? Well, we work on our how. How do we do that? What are these steps, actions, or events that must take place before you can actually achieve the goal? Because remember, a goal without action is just a wish. We can make a goal, and that's something that many people do. We write a goal down even, but we don't do anything. So you want to make sure that you take action with your goal, but you have to know what actions. Now, when we talked about, in episode 2 or step 2, be realistic, I told you that we don't want to set ourselves up for failure by setting an unrealistic goal, but that doesn't mean when we set our goal, we know that it can necessarily be accomplished, because it may never have been thought of. We talk about aerial flight, being able to fly around in an aluminum tube around the world. At one point, that was never even believed it could ever happen. Going to Mars is not something that, people say that we can even do at times. But, Elon Musk disagrees, and he's working on the plan, the action plan to achieve that. So whatever your goal is, you may not know, especially if you're young and you don't have a lot of education or experience, you may have to make that part of your action plan. If you're setting out to achieve something that has never been accomplished, or to achieve something that you don't know even what needs to be done, specifically, that would be one of your first action steps that you would want to take, is find out what has to be done for this to happen. And a lot of times those steps, if you're doing moonshot goals like we talked about in the Be Realistic series, you want to set up goals that are moonshot or big, hairy, audacious goals, things that are outside your comfort zone, but you may not know specifically at that moment how to achieve that. It could be that you need to find out how that works or how to achieve that, such as getting a new education or a new background in experience that you might have to have. So whatever those actions are, you want to start thinking about, what do I need to do to achieve this goal? Now, my goal at one time was to and not one time, many times, was to lose weight. And I followed a lot of diets, never was very successful. But in November, December of 2017, I really decided that I need to get healthy. I had been 300 pounds. As you see on the left, that was me at 30 years old when I was just out of my mind or body or whatever, if you want to call it. But I had gotten to 300 pounds, very unhealthy. And, you know, I was that way for 30 years and not doing well. I developed type 2 diabetes, taking a lot of medicines, just not healthy, you know. And I wanted to be realistically healthy, and that meant I needed to lose weight. So I set my goal for January 2018 to achieve my weight loss goal, which was to get down to 185 pounds. I had been that at one point when I was younger, and I needed to get back to it. I wanted to be what I was before, right before I turned 30. I was at 185 pounds, and I wanted to get back to that. So the picture on the left is me just after my 30th birthday, where I had just really gotten, continued to grow and get heavy. But my what that I talked about is the what do I want to achieve. And if you remember me talking about that earlier in episode 3 for, you know, this particular series, I talked about being, actually it was episode 1, write it down, be specifics. Be specific and clearly defined written goals. And when I wrote my goal, I said, when I woke up on December 31st and go into my bathroom, I'm going to step on my scale and I'm going to see 185 on the scale, and I will pump my fist and give a shout, woohoo, happy new year, happy new you. And, you know, I really lived that. I was going to do that, but I had to understand, how am I going to do that? What are the steps that I needed to take to achieve that goal, to get to this svelte 185 pounds that I eventually got to. And so I started thinking about what I needed to do. And for me, losing weight was a matter of eating less and exercise more. I like to call it my L&M diet, eat less, exercise more. And in my L&M diet, I knew I had to reduce my calorie intake per day to a minimum of 1,200 calories. And before you start doing your own weight loss, if you're working on a weight loss goal or want to lose weight or need to lose weight, check with your physician first to make sure that you have the correct calorie counts that you need, that you can be healthy in this particular program. But I knew that I wanted to reduce my calorie intake to a maximum of 1,200 calories per day. And then I will increase my caloric burn by 1,000. But I also knew I needed to increase my caloric burn by 1,000 over the caloric intake. So basically, I had to burn 2,200 calories every day to be able to have that calorie deficit of 1,000 calories. And I also knew that I needed to exercise a little bit more. So along with eating properly, eating healthy, and maintaining a calorie regimen, I also had to do exercise a little bit more. I set up mine doing, I wanted to perform body weight routines when I wake up for a half hour every morning. Basically, some sit-ups, push-ups, stretching, things like that. I will do kettlebell routines 3 days per week. And I also said I will work out during the week and eat, I also said I will eat less carbs during the week. I had a big problem eating carbs. I love bread, I love pasta, and I knew that was what was helping me maintain a large weight. So I knew I had to do that. And I also put, I will walk 5 miles on Saturday and Sunday, 5 miles a day on Saturday and Sunday. So I knew I had to increase my calorie burn, you know, and I wanted a deficit of 1,000 calories every day. And I also wanted to exercise more. So eat less and exercise more. So those were the items that I knew, the action steps I knew I had to take. Now I modified this as we got along, and I eventually even started running. And that was something that I added to my how and everything. Now, I will tell you that by following this routine, I did not make it to December 31st to achieve my goal in 2018. I actually finished and did the fist pump early in the morning at 4 in the morning when I woke up on September the 24th of 2018, 3 months early, by following that routine and following the how, the steps that I needed to follow. And I knew that I could do it because I was tracking my steps. I was tracking what I needed to do every single day. And that'll be the next series. We'll talk about what we need to do in the steps. And not only do we need to set an action plan, the next step we're going to be talking about is measuring it and tracking it. And that's a daily process, or however often you set your action plan for, you will want to measure and track that. So we'll talk more about how to do the measuring and how to do the tracking of our goals and our action plan. So we've talked about writing it down. Specific is terrific. You want clearly defined written goals. You want to be realistic, and by realistic doesn't mean you can't have a moonshot goal. You just want to not set a goal that really can't be done. That's more based on, the relation to you and your capabilities and your abilities and the time frame really that you might set for it. And that's the other step here, is you want to set a deadline, and your deadline needs to be set, but again, it needs to be realistic too. As part of that, you want to make sure you allot enough time based on your plans in your life and work and everything else. And that's what setting an action plan is. And that was what was critical for me. I set my goal out for a 12-month period from January 1st through December 31st, because I knew to lose the amount of weight I wanted to lose, I had to be able to burn that extra calories, that calorie deficit that I talked about. And the only way I could do that is through a certain amount of exercise or calorie burn, and that would take more time. And with working a full-time job and trying to do that, I had to make sure I had time to do that, and that just meant I had to go a little bit longer to get my goal. And if I had set it for a 3-month period to lose that kind of weight that I did, it would not have been a realistic goal, and I would not have made it. So next video, we're going to be talking about measure it, track it, and I'll show you a program that we use within the goal getting program, a worksheet that allows you to track your actions, or what we call, we'll talk more about value events, items that move you forward within your goal. We'll track those value events and help us get to the goals we want to set. So thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. Again, I want to mention my book, 9 Steps to Successful Goal Achievement. I have a link to that in the description. I also want to let you know that I am able to be followed on social media, Tony Woodall Speaker, Facebook, my Motivated Action Group website. And again, I do coaching, corporate consulting, public speaking for organizations and corporations. So look forward to talking with you. I want to thank you again for showing up here. And again, please subscribe to the channel, ring my bell. Okay, I'm not going to sing, but ring my bell, and then you'll get notifications when we're going to release the next video. So look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much. Have a great week and good success to you.